Hi guys, it's Nicole. I am sharing my first layout using the March 2021 Flavors of the Month kit from the Scraproom. Today I am working with the Photoplay Tula and Norbert's Lucky Charm. I am also going to be pulling some stuff from the embellishment add-on, but first I am going to go through the main elements of the kit. So this one came with 2 sheets of white cardstock, and then as always you're going to get 3 sheets of pattern paper. And for this one it's going to be Lucky Charm, Kiss Me, and Tartan. So if the kit is sold out or you are just kind of interested in the actual paper names, there's the information there. And then the main kit came with the 12 by 12 sticker sheet from Photoplay. And as you guys can see, this is a very theme specific kit. And when I first got it, I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to end up doing a layout with blank photos because we don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So this is kind of the point in my process where I take everything out, I go through and kind of look at the papers and think about how I can possibly use them. I did go ahead and pull out the Doodlebug alphabet that I believe is meant to coordinate with this from the add-on, and I decided to do some photos of us hanging out with our neighbors in the street out front. And as I was kind of looking things over, I came up with a title, so I'm going to go ahead and jot that down really quickly on a post-it note just so that I don't forget, because that is something that I would more than likely end up doing. I am pulling in another photo collage. I have mentioned this many times in previous videos. If I don't have great photos or they are just kind of all over the place, they're not necessarily the sharpest, they're not like close up on anybody, photo collages is kind of my band-aid for that solution, because it's just a super easy way for me to crop them down and kind of have these weird shaped photos all still live cohesively in one sort of area. And so from there, I just try to figure out which pattern papers do I like the most and how am I going to make them work. And I'm going to just settle into the groove of paper strips because that's what works for me. This is going to be very similar to my previous video. If it works, I'm going to just keep doing it, kind of a thing. Now, I will say that when I was trying to figure out photos for this, I just kind of went through the 12 by 12 sticker sheet and really looked at any of the elements on there that was not specific to St. Patrick's Day. So none of the things that say, obviously, St. Patrick's Day, or I don't have it in front of me, so I can't think off the top of my head, but the beer mug and then the phrase that said shenanigans kind of stood out to me because so these photos are from, I would say probably March through April of 2020. So basically when we kind of had our stay-home orders issued, we personally weren't that affected other than school and work because the people in our bubble are also next door and across the street, in the sense that, you know, we see them every day, we hang out with them every day, kind of a thing, and nobody's really sitting on each other's laps and licking eyeballs, kind of a thing. So it was nice to still be able to go outside. This is the time of year where, you know, the weather's getting nicer and it's not super hot yet, and we can kind of go outside and just hang out. And more likely than not, one, if not everybody, is kind of out there with an adult beverage, just sort of, you know, shaking off the day and just kind of relaxing with each other. And so, you know, and again, because this is spanning different time frames, not all from like a specific day, you know, I picked one photo from when my kids and my husband were playing hockey out front. I have a couple photos from when we were all outside playing cornhole and just kind of hanging out. And again, not great photos, but by putting them all within a cohesive looking element like a photo collage, this is what works for me. If this doesn't work for you, then go with what does. Like, everybody kind of has their own way of doing things. And if you do celebrate St. Patrick's Day, then this kit and this line is super cute for that. So I just kind of focused on parts of the sticker sheet that were going to work for me. And my theme for the layout was basically just talking about that we were lucky that when sort of the world stopped spinning, that we didn't have a whole lot of changes to our daily life, just because a lot of our daily routines were still there because the people that we see daily were still sort of within our bubble. And kind of going off on a tangent from that, that's really one of the reasons that I am enjoying these kits so much, and I'm enjoying being on this design team and being challenged with, okay, here's 4 samplings of different collections that you more than likely would not have bought. They were sort of pre-chosen for you. I'll find a way to make them work. Without being sent these supplies, the photos that I'm using in this specific layout probably would have ended up scattered across a couple different months in a month in review layout, and just kind of had a basic blurb basically saying we hung out outside with our neighbors. This kit and kind of being challenged creatively in this way for me brought out the opportunity to kind of stop, have these photos together with the mindset of how lucky we are that we are really good friends with 3 of the houses on our street, and we're all within like literally the next house, the next house, the next house, the one across the street. Unfortunately, not little kids to hang out with. So my kids, though, love hanging out with all the adults and stuff. So without being challenged in this way, I probably would not have told this story in this method. It would have just, like I said, kind of lived in month in review. And so for that, I am thankful, I guess, in this sense, for that kind of a challenge. And then, like I said, the beer icon and the shenanigans phrase was sort of where I got the jumping off point to do something about us hanging out with our neighbors. And so I thought it would kind of be cute to just go ahead and use up all of the little gnome people and kind of line them up in like a scene across the bottom of the layout. So that's pretty much what I did. I just put some elements flat to the page and popped some of them up with foam adhesive. And again, I just kind of picked things that weren't specific to St. Patrick's Day. But I think that this line works because my photos are in that time frame of year where St. Patty's lands, and then the fact that I'm talking about being lucky to have friends next door. And I'm just tucking things here and there and just kind of making this really full scene going from the left side of the layout to the right side of the layout. Some of the things that are layered in the back do have theme specific or St. Patrick's Day specific phrases, like the little green tag I think does say something about like March 17th, and then there's a phrase on the hat. I just covered that up with the other stickers. And again, I'm just kind of making some things flat, some things popped up, just adding more interest. And I'm literally using every sticker I can find on that sheet that will support my theme. Everything else, I'm just going to leave it on there. I may go ahead and sort of send this off to somebody else, and if they celebrate St. Patrick's Day, then they will be in heaven because everything left on here is St. Patrick's Day specific. So again, I even went through the phrase stickers and just kind of found things. So it was stuff like, tomfoolery and shenanigans and lucky. Things that just kind of, again, felt like they fit my theme. Now, because I knew that I was going to have a longer title and use those black Doodlebug alphabet stickers, I was a little bit worried that they were going to get lost on the orange paper. So I showed this in a previous video. A go-to for me is to take something like a doily and cut it in half, or grab some vellum and cut it into a circle and cut that in half. And it's just going to break up all the straight lines, but also give me somewhere for my letter stickers to sit and also be easier to read, I guess is what I'm saying. And I am only going to attach the vellum just on the bottom and tuck it underneath my photo collage. So basically, nobody's going to end up seeing it. And then I did add foam tape to the back of all the letters in the word lucky. I just didn't want them to get lost on that as well. They are a contrasting color, but I mean, at this point, I've got a ton of foam tape at the bottom of the layout. I might as well add something to the top. And I actually like popping up titles. It just kind of depends on how lazy I'm feeling. It does take a little bit of time, but to me, it's just kind of one of those things that I will do while I'm kind of sitting in on a kid's class, or I think this day I was catching up on some YouTube and I had headphones in. So it's just kind of one of those things where, yes, it takes a while to do, but it's not that hard. And then here I cut out part of this just because it does take up quite a bit of the video. I am using the Doodlebug cardstock alphabet stickers that were part of the embellishment add-on. I really, really like these. I have purchased different colors of these on my own, so I was really excited to see the black version. And so basically my title is just Lucky for Friends Next Door, and I just kind of mixed up and did for friends in lowercase and next door in uppercase, and used sort of a cheater method of a post-it note to line everything up. And at this point, I'm just checking the sticker sheet, seeing if I can make use of anything else on there, knowing that this is pretty much going to be the only thing that I make with it. I wanted to make sure that I sort of did it justice. And then I mentioned this in a previous video as well, of I'm on this kick where if I don't have much to say, I like doing sort of one long strip of journaling. And then I did type out just a little piece that basically just says March to April of 2020, because these photos don't span or aren't from one specific date. Now, my chronological friends and the super organized people that I don't really relate to, you guys are probably wondering, well, where are you going to file this? More than likely, I will just put it between March and April in my album. It'll just be where March ends and April begins. So probably this will come before the month in review for April of 2020. And that works for me. I know some people don't like to do layouts where the photos span, more than one day, but it doesn't bother me, especially in this instance. And then I typically like things like enamel dots or little pearls and stuff that tend to come with a lot of the kits. This one did not. In the sticker sheet, I was kind of hoping that they would have some little tiny pieces, but they didn't. So my go-to for this one was to just pull out some gold sequins. I kind of wanted to go with something that was also going to support the theme and kind of the motif of what's going on. So I felt like the little gold sequins could kind of mimic the gold coins and pot of gold imagery and stuff like that. So that's pretty much going to be it for my layout. I hope that this specific layout kind of inspires you to maybe look at the product that you have or new collections that are coming out that when you first look at them, you think, I would never be able to use that. And if you have been on the fence about joining the Flavors of the Month kit or even the Double Shot kit, and you're worried about what happens if there's a collection that you don't like or you don't know how you would use it, I hope that this just kind of gives you an example and shows you that it is possible to kind of think outside the box and come up with something creatively that works for you and fits within your style and your needs. So here are the detail photos of my layout, and I hope you enjoyed this process, and I will catch you guys in another video shortly. And as always, please make sure to check the description box below and leave me any questions that you have in the comments. Catch you guys later.